Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהכל נהיה בדברו. If someone were to ask me, what is the basic principle of Judaism? You know, one can say belief in God, responsibility. You know, I would choose for our conversation today, the word is mitzvah. What is mitzvah? Mitzvah means a certain obligation, a certain norm that I must follow. The Torah has 613 mitzvot, 613 norms that I have to live by. Of course, I can't live by all of them because some have to do with the fact that if you are a Kohen or not, you are part of a certain family tradition in Judaism. Others have to do with the land of Israel, and if I live outside of the land of Israel, I don't have to do it. Some have to do with being a male, some have to do with being a female. They're not 613 that I have to live by, but the number is there. 613 norms that I have to live by. In other words, when I get up in the morning, I know exactly what I have to do. When I sit down to eat, I know exactly what I have to do. In other words, my entire life, in a certain way, is regulated by these norms. I have to study at all times. That is also a norm, and so on. My question to you is the following. I know what the norm is. Let us say it says don't steal, and I see something that I want to very much and nobody's watching, and I go and I take it. I steal something. What effect does it have on me? I think on many people who know that the norm is really the right thing to do, it produces a certain amount of guilt. You know, maybe guilt is a very strong word, but after a time, it produces guilt. It's just, they say that a Jewish mother produces guilt. You know, she tells her son, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you do this? I've been waiting for you, and so on. She feeds you with guilt, and you feel wrong about it. You should have done it, and you feel there's something missing in you. You didn't live up to the moment. You feel guilty. Even though you're not condemned by anybody, you're not put in prison, but you feel that somehow you missed the mark, you didn't do the right thing. There are other societies where guilt is not really the main thing. You know what the main thing is? Shame. What others are going to say. In other words, honor. I lost my honor. Among the Japanese, for instance, that is a very important concept. Honor, not guilt. Honor. I was dishonored. I don't know if it's true, but I read many a time that in certain Islamic families, if a girl commits a sexual immorality, they will kill her. Why? Because she brought shame to the family. The entire family is now part of what she did, and that is shameful. What is shame? What others think of you. It's not what you think yourself. It's what others will now think. People thought that you were an honest person, but you went and stole. They will no longer think that you are honest. They'll have a different conception of you. Guilt is something else. Nobody knows that I'm guilty. I stole and nobody realized that I stole. But I know that I stole. And therefore I punish myself with guilt. It is something that I produce myself because I am conscious that I did something wrong. While shame has to do with what others think of you, guilt has to do with what you think of yourself. And maybe this is why the couches of psychiatrists are so busy, because many people feel very guilty. I've come into contact with some people that somehow he feels that all the immorality that happens in this world is his fault. He feels guilty of everything. He underlies his shortcomings at all times, and there's a tremendous amount of guilt. Guilt can also become a sickness for a human being. On the other hand, when it comes to shame, It doesn't have so much to do with you. It has to do with what other people think of you. Well, I want to tell you, we human beings are complex. You know, we have guilt and we have shame. Maybe both are necessary. It becomes a problem when one of the two takes over the other one completely. I think guilt is an important reaction to certain things. You have to feel guilty when you did something, even if nobody saw you. You must realize that you have to change. And this has to do with the ability to do that you have to change. While shame is what others will think of you, and you're forever living in a world where you're exposed to everything around you. You are not the owner of your own self, but you reflect what others opine about you. Well, where do you belong? What is more important for you, shame or guilt? Remember, both are very strong feelings that in a certain way will try to correct your behavior in this world.